Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Welcome back to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan. Good morning. We're wrapping up the week here on Friday, November 21st, 2025.
We are. And we've got some huge movers to talk about today, not just in the market, but in the tech that we are all using every day.
Yeah, but first, let's quickly set the scene. Out here in Sacramento, we've got a dense fog advisory until about 10 a.m., so be careful on those morning commutes.
Definitely. And nationally, we're keeping an eye on a pretty big weather system. It's bringing widespread rain from Texas all the way up to the central Appalachians.
And more seriously, that heavy rainfall is still a problem in Southern California and the desert Southwest.
Right, which means the flash flood risk, especially near those recent burn scars, is still very, very high. So please stay safe out there.
All right, let's look at the financial landscape. It was, a bit of a mixed close to the week, but there are some encouraging signs.
A little bit of green finally?
A little bit. The Dow Jones edged up about 160 points. That's a 0.35% gain, closing at 45,968.70.
But the week overall was still pretty rough, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. We're still down over 2% since last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
The S&P 500 basically flat, up just 0.07%.
And then there's the crypto world.
Yeah.
A totally different story. Bitcoin took a huge hit.
A huge hit. It plunged 3.44% today, which puts it down over 9% for the week. It closed at 83,543.30.
Wow.
Yeah.
It just shows you how fragile that confidence can be in the tech sector right now.
It really does.
Okay, before we jump into our Morningstar Tech Report, and we have 3 really fascinating stories today, we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Old Glory.
If you're getting a head start on your holiday shopping and, you've got that techie friend who seems to have everything,
this is the spot. Old Glory is the iconic music and sports fan merch store. It's perfect for finding something unique.
Yeah.
And you can get 15% off your entire purchase when you use the promo code SNARFL at checkout.
You can find all their great stuff at oldglory.com.
Fantastic way to get that list checked off early. Okay, let's connect some dots.
Let's do it. We're starting with a story of a corporate crisis and a pretty timely bailout.
Then we're moving to some really cutting-edge AI creativity. And finally, we'll talk about how the tech world is trying to fight the tidal wave of fakes that creativity is causing.
A perfect trio.
So let's start with the gaming giant Ubisoft. This story felt pretty concerning as it unfolded. First, a trading halt, a delayed earnings report. Then the news dropped. What was the core problem?
The core problem was, frankly, some really bad accounting. It's what happens when you try to make the books look a little too good.
The auditors caught something.
The auditors caught them red-handed. The issue was improper revenue recognition. They took income from a huge partnership and booked it all at once in the last fiscal year.
Okay, so instead of spreading that income out over the life of the partnership, which is what the rules say you have to do,
the IFRS 15 rules.
they just pulled it all forward to make one quarter look amazing.
Precisely. They were counting long-term money as immediate profit, and this forced them to restate their entire 2024, 24, 25 accounts. The second those corrected numbers came out, well, the bottom just dropped out.
So why does a dry accounting fix like that cause such a massive crisis?
Because it put them in technical default on their loans. See, lenders have these things called debt covenants.
Right, certain financial ratios they have to maintain.
Exactly. And the restated numbers showed that as of September 30th, they were not complying with those leverage ratios. For a company whose stock is already down 90% from its peak in 2018, this is catastrophic.
So they were staring down the barrel of a formal default. Creditors could start demanding their money back immediately. How on earth did they dodge that bullet?
Well, they got a massive stay of execution, and it came from Tencent.
The Chinese tech giant.
Yep. Tencent was already in the process of finalizing a huge €1 billion investment into Ubisoft's Vantage Studios subsidiary. So Ubisoft took about $330 million of that cash and used it to immediately pay off a bunch of their outstanding loans.
So wait a minute, that Tencent money wasn't just for, new games and growth. It was an emergency bailout fund to clean up a past mistake.
That is the key takeaway. And it's why investors are still a little nervous, but the immediate impact, who really feels it?
The employees.
The employees. This whole financial mess, it comes alongside a huge cost-cutting drive. Ubisoft is trying to save 100 million euros this year.
And how are they doing that?
It's translated directly into about 1,500 roles being cut over the last 12 months. Financial mistakes in the boardroom, they lead directly to job losses.
Wow. A tough lesson there.
Okay.
Let's pivot from that high-stakes corporate drama to something a little more fun, something that's driving a lot of consumer hype.
Yes, let's. The AI world is just buzzing about the Nano Banana Pro.
Which is such a great name.
It's a fantastic viral nickname. The official name is Gemini 3 Pro Image, but nobody calls it that. And this thing has just taken over. It drove the Gemini app to the top of the App Store charts.
And I saw a number. Something like 5 billion images have been made with it already.
5 billion. The scale is just, it's incredible.
So what's the deal? Why this version? What makes Nano Banana Pro so much better than what came before?
Well, it's built on top of the much smarter Gemini 3 Pro model, so it inherits all of that model's reasoning and world knowledge.
And that translates into what? Better pictures.
It translates into professional level capabilities. So, number 1, text rendering. This is the big one.
No more of the weird AI squiggles where words are supposed to be.
Exactly. For the first time, you can generate an infographic, a diagram, a meme, and the text is actually accurate and legible, even in multiple languages. It removes one of the biggest tells of AI generation.
It's huge. Well,
The creative control is just it's enormous now. You can tell it you want a specific camera lens angle. You can change the lighting from day to night. You can add, a bokeh effect in the background.
like a virtual photo studio in your phone.
That's a perfect way to put it. And for people doing more complex projects, the blending feature is wild.
I heard about this. You can combine multiple images.
You can blend up to 14 different images. And get this, it can keep the faces of up to 5 different people consistent across the new image it creates.
Okay, that is a whole different level. And it's all in high resolution.
All the way up to 4K. It is genuinely blurring the line between a fun consumer toy and a professional tool.
So if you're listening and you want to try this out, where do you go? And what's the secret to getting good results?
It's rolling out globally right now, right inside the Gemini app. You just have to make sure you've selected the Thinking Gemini 3 Pro model. It's also in the Google AI Studio, and it's free, though you do have a quota.
And the secret sauce.
The crowdsourced advice is pretty clear. Stop using keywords.
So don't just say cat, banana, space.
Right. You have to be descriptive, use paragraphs, tell the AI a story about the image you want.
And I heard something about negative prompting.
Yes. This is the other killer tip. Unlike older models, Nano Banana Pro is great at understanding what you don't want. So you can explicitly say, don't change the person's hair, or no cars in the background, and it actually listens. That level of control is a game changer.
It sounds incredibly powerful. Which, of course, leads us directly into our third story.
The inevitable other shoe to drop.
Exactly, because when these tools get this good, the problem of telling what's real from what's fake gets exponentially worse. So Google is trying to build a truth detector.
It's the critical counter move, right?
Yeah.
When you can create a photorealistic 4K image in seconds, the stakes for everything, news, politics, even product reviews, are just enormous.
So what is this feature?
They're adding it right into the Gemini app. You'll be able to upload an image you're suspicious about and just ask it, was this created with Google AI?
So I can be scrolling my feed, see a photo that looks a little off, and run it through Gemini to check. How does it actually work? What's the tech?
It relies completely on Google's own invisible watermarking tech. It's called Synthid. So when a Google tool like Nano Banana Pro makes an image, it embeds this little digital signal that you can't see. And it's designed to survive things like cropping or filters. Gemini just looks for that signal.
Okay, so it sounds like a great lock and a great key, but they're the only ones who have the key, and it only works on their own locks.
That's the perfect analogy, and that is the core limitation right now. It is a closed-loop system. It only works on content made with Google AI.
So if an image came from Midjourney or OpenAI or somewhere else...
Gemini can't tell you a thing. There's no Synthid watermark for it to find. It's a dead end.
So what we need is a universal standard, and that's where C2PA comes in.
Yeah.
We've mentioned this before, but can you just remind everyone what its role is in this bigger picture?
Of course. C2PA stands for the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity. And you should think of it as like the digital nutrition label for media.
A digital nutrition label. I like that.
It's an open standard that anyone can use. It attaches a permanent, verifiable record to the file itself. It's like a chain of custody that shows where the file came from, when it was made, and every single edit that happened along the way.
That's what builds trust. It's not about one company's secret watermark. It's about a transparent history for the file.
Exactly. And the good news is there's a lot of momentum building here. Google announced that images from Nano Banana Pro will start including this C2PA metadata this week.
Oh, that's a big deal.
It's huge. And maybe even bigger, TikTok also just announced they're integrating C2PA metadata into their content.
Wow. Okay, so when you have giants like Google and TikTok, who are basically the biggest distributors of viral media on the planet, adopting an open standard.
That's when you know it's gaining critical mass. It suggests C2PA is becoming the global requirement. And while Google's current detector is still proprietary, they did confirm they plan to support C2PA verification in the future.
And that's the real end game here. That's the universal verification tool we need so you can check content that comes from outside the Google ecosystem.
It gives us a fighting chance against the flood of deepfakes.
That shift from a closed system to an open standard might be the most important tech story of the week. It really affects the integrity of everything we see online.
Absolutely. The arms race is on.
We're going to transition to our closing thoughts, but first, let's give a shout out to our other fantastic sponsor,
Scony. If you're looking to elevate your performance and, your style on the golf course, Scony is the premium golf shoe store. Just exceptional quality and design.
And as a listener, you get 15% off your entire purchase by using the promo code SNARFL at checkout. You can find the perfect pair for your next round at scony.com.
Great gear.
Okay, so let's wrap up our 3 core stories. First, we saw Ubisoft narrowly avoid a financial default, rescued by Tencent's funding.
A pretty clear lesson that accounting shortcuts have very real consequences for workers.
Then we explored the incredible, almost breathtaking power of the viral Nano Banana Pro image generator.
And finally, we saw Google's first step in fighting fakes with its own detector, SynthEyed. But the real story, the long-term one, is the growing adoption of that open C2PA standard. That's our best hope against misinformation.
And I think that leads to the final thought for you to take into the weekend. Given the power of a tool like Nano Banana Pro, which can create hyper-realistic 4K images in an instant, the crucial question isn't just about making beautiful art.
No, the real question is whether the entire tech industry, all of them, not just the early adopters like Google and TikTok, can agree on and integrate C2PA fast enough.
Fast enough to keep the general public from completely losing faith in the authenticity of any digital image, video, or audio they see online. That fight for trust really defines the modern internet.
The race is on.
We're here to help at Snarkle, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.